How do we get out of a subconscious story of just something that isn't serving you? I keep seeing this and I'm like, my clients don't have that. Why don't they have that? Because some, groups that I'm part of, or some accountability groups, or several memberships, and I'm just seeing this in this personal growth industry. People who are so self-aware, who have done the work, and yet they're stuck in a spiral. They're just like every session or every call, they're talking about the same thing. And I asked myself, why don't I have that with clients? And I did sometimes, like, wait, what worked? How come they're not bringing the same thing over and over again? And in my one-on-one containers, it's like 3 months of intense work, but it's just like transformational 3 months, and it's that easy and it's that fast. And why does it work? And this is what I realized, that the way that I move with particular kind of work, this is what I'm sharing in this video, it gets you to this place of never getting stuck in those moments. So this is what I want to share with you, because it's a weapon that the ego has that it shouldn't have. Because you're here to live your best life. You're here to thrive. So why are we replaying the same limiting story that happened, forever ago? And yet here it is, controlling our lives. So let's dive right in. Okay, so how do we do it? How do we let go of this limiting story? Or maybe it's 2, 3. It's usually maximum 3 stories that were like, oh my God, that really changed my life. That really impacted me. Especially in the personal growth industry. And this is why it was so frustrating. All these people who have this awareness, who have done the work, and yet they still keep tripping over the same story. And now I realize that in my work with my one-on-one clients, which is usually in 3 or 6 month containers, depending on the needs of the person, where they're at, we don't have that. Why don't we have that? Why does it work? Why are these people able to have those shifts quickly? And they don't get stuck in that spiral of that one particular story. And I actually had several clients who tried, like their ego tried to do that, but that was just turned very quickly. So here's the key, okay? And I'm excited to share this with you. And I want you to apply this, because it breaks my heart when I hear people talk about the same. It's like, it seems like it's a new limitation, or like, a new thing happened on the surface level. But when you go to the root cause, like, oh yeah, it's that story again. And they just have it on repeat. And what it really is, are you ready for this one? What it really is your mind's excuse to not be happy. It's your mind's excuse to not live the life that you came here to live. It's your mind, and this is why I'm going to tell you what is the key to this. I remember when I first started working just my own journey, and I went to this practitioner, and what this person did, they would go in past lives. They would do past life regressions. And I couldn't understand the modality of it, but my guidance told me to go. And I could understand it in the sense that, why is it necessary? Like, okay, well, I know the story. And I asked, a dear friend of mine knew this practitioner, and I asked, well, what's the point? Like, okay, well, I know, let's say that I was Cleopatra, and this is what happened. It was very traumatic. How's that going to help me? And my friend goes, well, when you know the story, it's supposed to release it. And that's absolutely true in the sense that when you bring something to awareness, people go into, okay, well, how do I fix it? You just brought it to awareness. You looked at it in the eyes, and then that's it. That's 85% of the work, okay? Just bring it to awareness. I would say 80. 80% of the work is bringing it to awareness. Okay, there's still the 20 of shifting. But for the most part, a lot of those stories are just, oh, I shined light on it. I know where it comes from, and now I can let it go. However, if you're more advanced, your ego will use this, ooh, I know the story, to let's dissect the story into what else can I get out of it so that I'm not here, so that I'm not present. What other limitations? Let's dissect this. Let's look at this situation from different angles and see all the ways in which it's very limiting and holding me back, and why I can't be happy because of that thing that my mother did when I was 3. And all of these stories, the reason I couldn't understand, it really didn't sit right to me, but again, my guidance was like, experience this, understand how he's working, because there were some important tools there at the time. But it was this actually consciously choosing to go to a past life. And you don't really need to do that, because the idea was, well, I need to go to the past life to clear those blocks. I guarantee you that with this work, this is how you turn into inner workaholic. When we're going into not working from the present moment, not being here, but oh, let's see what reasons there are for me to be unhappy. Let's look at them in the past. And that's where the ego lives. Like, you're going to the ego's home, okay? It lives in the past or in the future. The ego cannot be present. It has no ability of that, right? No ability to do that. So we're going to where the ego lives to try to get out of the ego, to try to get out of the thinking mind, to try to feel safe. It's not there. It's not back there, okay? It's right here. So a crucial point that a lot of people are missing is working from the present moment. Do I do regressional work in my one-on-one? Absolutely. We do that in the Powerful Self membership as well when we have those live calls, and I feel like there's some stagnant energy. We go into where did it originate. However, that comes from the present moment. We don't go looking for trouble. We're looking at what is coming up for me right now. All you need is right now. And now here's what happens. Sometimes there's an energy in the body and it wants to move through, and it's stagnant energy. And then I go, where did it originate? Where did you first originate? And we speak to that energy, and there's a whole technique with it. And again, this is what I do with my one-on-one. And we do this. And sometimes it takes us to seemingly the same scene. And the clients sometimes go, oh, it's that again. And I interrupt them and say, no, it's not the same. It's a new moment. Can you let go of those ego's judgments? Oh, I know this. Oh, it was that thing that happened when I was 3. And yeah, I see my mom. I know exactly what's going to happen. Stop. Because there can be several energies that are trapped in that moment. And when we let's say worked with one and we go into, okay, I know what this scene means. I know where my mind is taking me. You don't know shit. Just let it go. What is coming up in this very moment? Because it may be the same scene, a completely different thing wants to come up. Maybe it's a different emotion, but our mind overrides it. It does the same in our, day to day. Let's say in a relationship, you've been with someone in a relationship for 5 years, and you go into, oh, I know that person, and that's it. And that's the death of it, because you stop experiencing them. So in every single moment, can you see those limitations, those stories where your mind takes you somewhere? Don't follow its trap into, oh, yeah, it's that story when I was 3. Instead, the mind takes you, it's like, oh my God, this reminds me just like when I was 3, and then my mom was in that scene. It's like, what did you feel in that moment? And speaking for so when you say that, like, what did you feel, not what did I feel, that creates distance, right? It's easier to work with it. What did I feel in this moment? What emotion came up? What happened? As if you've never, ever, ever experienced this before. I love these teachers, Gay and Kathleen Hendricks. Incredible, just people. They have so many books, both of them, and just their work. They have a lot of work around conscious relationships. And when you watch their interviews, I believe they're in their 70s now. And, he's speaking and she's looking at him with such awe. She's heard this story like 50,000 times, they were together, I don't know, 30, 40 years. But she's looking at him with such awe and adoration and excitement, like, ooh, what is he going to say next? Can you do that with yourself? When your mind takes you to a story that's like, oh my God, I heard this thing. I know where it's going to take me. It's that limiting belief. Instead of going like, oh my God, I'm so excited to be here with you. What are you going to show me now? That is when you take your power back, because you are consistently being here in the now. You are not going into those traps. You're committing and you're showing up you're showing this dedication to the present moment. And this is really the message of this video. How do we get out of the patterns? We stay committed, dedicated, and in absolute love and in awe of the present moment. Any inner work you do from the present moment, not looking at the past, not going into, this is who I want to be, this is what I want to create, and this is what a lot of coaches, this is where they take you. Especially because in our society, and I was definitely that person. It's like, I don't want to go into the childhood shit. I don't want to deal with any of that. Like, it's in the past. That doesn't serve me. Let's move on. Present moment. And in the present moment, things come up in the body. Most people don't want to be present because it's not safe, because there's so much stagnant energy and so much crap going on in our emotional body that when we have to stay present, all these things come up, and that's terrifying. And this is why I do the work that I do. So, by the way, if you want to check out the one-on-one container, free breakthrough call, sign up, answer the questionnaire, and we can I either give you clarity on just, what are your next steps. I may suggest some resources, which is what I've done with some people. And for some people, there's possibility of us working together, and then we see if we're a match, and we go from there. So if that's something you're interested in, check out below. And my invitation to you this week, how can I be more present? Okay. What are some of those things that you love to do? What are things that light you up, that bring you into the now? How can you do that today? Many blessings.